This episode is brought to you by Anchor.fm. If you haven't heard of Anchor, you should definitely check them out. It's a super easy tool that anyone can use to create and distribute their podcast. It has everything you need, and you can do it all from your computer or even your phone. Need your podcast cover art? There's a tool. Music and sound effects? They have you covered. Want to record on the fly? It's easy with the app. Now you may be saying to yourself, I already have a podcast. No worries, just create your account, upload, and publish to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. Looking for some walking around money? Anchor connects you with advertisers who match your brand. It's a one-stop shop for all of your podcasting needs. Download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor.fm to get started.
Welcome back to BizQuik. I'm Julie.
And I'm Corey.
And on today's episode, we're speaking with Lisa Cutter. She's the social media director at Up My Biz. Today, she's going to break down common mistakes she sees small business owners make in marketing, and she's going to walk through how you can win the marketing game even on a low budget.
That's right. You're listening to BizQuik. This is where Julie and Corey provide quick and useful information to small business owners. BizQuik is the podcast where small business owners get to showcase their businesses and receive expert advice and guidance in areas many entrepreneurs struggle with. And you, the listener, get solutions, tips, and tricks on real-world topics that many small business owners face. Julie and Corey are the experts small businesses hire when they need solutions. And the BizQuik podcast is just one way they deliver those solutions. Let's start the show.
Okay, welcome to BizQuik. We have on the podcast today Lisa Cutter. She is the media director, the social media director. Did I get that right?
Social media director. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Social media director at Up My Biz. And she is here to talk with us about the different pain points that most small businesses have on social media. But before we jump into that, we wanted to just learn a little bit about you, Lisa, about your business. So if you wouldn't mind just telling us about your business.
Sure, absolutely. And thanks for having me. Amp Up My Biz is an online marketing agency. So everything that is related to digital marketing is something that we offer for our clients. That includes social media marketing, social media advertising. Those are the paid ads that we're referring to. Email marketing, blog posting. I mean, you name it. If it's digital, we do it. Beyond that, which tends to be forgotten a little bit by business owners and small businesses and entrepreneurs, is strategy. So we not only implement everything that is related to online marketing, but we strategize and research and prepare something that is integrated for the best results a client can get. So that's a little bit about Amp Up My Biz.
Okay. And who are your primary clients? Are they small businesses? Or are they across the board?
Our clients do range. I'm going to break it up actually into 3 phases, if you don't mind, of entrepreneurship or business ownership, right? So phase 1 is you've just started out, you're a startup, you're doing your own marketing, you're a DIYer. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That is fantastic. There's tools you should make sure that you're using. There's information you should make sure that you know if you're going to DIY it. But that's phase 1. Phase 2 is where a business owner has expanded and can outsource their marketing to an expert. So our clients are in this phase 2 bubble, so to speak. And then phase 3 is where we have helped those clients in phase 2 grow so significantly that they are then able to bring in a marketing expert in-house, full-time, salaried on their payroll. We help phase 1 and phase 2. And even though I mentioned phase 1 are the DIYers, there's times that they don't have the time to get it done, or they don't have the expertise to get something done, and they'll need to outsource a portion of what they're doing with their marketing. And that's great. We're here for that. Phase 1 and phase 2 are pretty much the small business owners that we assist.
Excellent. So thinking about the people that are in phase 1, those do-it-yourselfers, what are some common mistakes? What are the most common mistakes that you see those small business owners make when it comes to marketing?
So it's somewhat of a loaded question because there tend to be a lot, and that's not meant in a negative or condescending way. It's just that you don't know what you don't know. And that goes for me too. I mean, shoot, Facebook changes things every freaking month practically, or every couple of weeks. I don't know what I don't know until I'm in it and figuring it out. So with that said, you don't know what you don't know about marketing. Now, one of the things that I see a lot, I'm going to cover two things. First common mistake I see is lack of strategy. It is detrimental to the success of any business. And when I say strategy, I don't mean your overall business plan. I mean marketing. You can either take the time to develop an integrated marketing plan or hire someone to do that for you that you can then implement. Or you can, at the very least, create a plan and strategy around one aspect of marketing, for example, social media marketing. Because the reality of it is, if you're not figuring out where you are now, where you want to be and by when, you can't plan for success. You're actually planning for failure. So not having that plan, not having that strategy means you don't know what you don't know. And when that's the case, you can't reach the goals that you want to reach, especially if you haven't even outlined the goal. Now, the second mistake that I see a lot is generally with social media marketing. I see people, I'm laughing because it's sort of unfathomable to me, but I have these conversations all the time. Oh, I tried social media and it didn't work. Oh, well, what did you do? Well, I threw up a couple of posts and nothing happened. Okay, that's fantastic, but that's not quite social media marketing. So when we're referring to social media marketing, you have to have a plan, as we just discussed. You have to have cohesive branding with your posts that align with your business, that align with your style guide. You can't just throw up other memes that you see all the time and that's it. You have to create content. You have to be consistent. You can't just throw things up and, you did a couple of posts one week, you did a Facebook Live the next week, and then you did nothing for the next month.
It's overwhelming to think about how much time it can take to spend on social media. So do you recommend for small business owners to stick with find one platform, master that, and then move to another one? Or do you master, what's the strategy that you have them going in on, especially if somebody doesn't really like to use social media at all?
True. No, that's such a great question. So yes, certain business owners should master one and then move on to the next one, because for them, they may have, some struggles with technology. Maybe they're not the most technologically savvy, and it would be way too overwhelming for them to do 2 or 3 platforms at one time. That's okay. Go ahead, master the one and then move on. However, for those who are more technologically savvy, I would recommend 2 to 3. The reason for that is because you're not always hitting the same audience. A lot of people don't realize that. Yes, for example, I have a personal Facebook and a personal Instagram. But guess what? Whoever I'm the target market for, who's spending money on ads and Instagram, they're never hitting me. You know why? Because I don't look at my Instagram newsfeed ever. I never look at it because I don't want to be on Instagram. I'm there for my business. So I personally shop from Facebook ads. And there's a lot of people like that who are, more in tune personally, who are in your target market with Instagram versus Facebook. And I'll give you one little tip. One really, really underrated for anyone who is choosing to select 2 to 3 social media platforms. One that is really, really underutilized is Pinterest.
We recommended that to a few clients especially when they're in the design space. They're creating something that's, has a material presence. We recommend Pinterest.
And the thing is that Pinterest, people are literally there to buy. They're not just looking for ideas. Pinterest is one of the platforms that has the highest sales. out of all the top 6 platforms. People don't realize that. We realize that. So of course we share that with our clients. This is an investment in your business. Mm-hmm. If you're going to make the time to do social media, make the time to do 2 to 3 of the top platforms where your target market lives, breathes, buys, because that's where you want to be reaching them. If, however, you really, really are not the most technologically savvy and you are too overwhelmed with learning a platform, then do one at a time. That's okay.
What, in your opinion, is worse, no marketing or bad marketing?
Believe it or not, no marketing is worse. And the reason for no marketing being worse is because if you have no marketing presence online, you have nothing at all whatsoever that you can even attempt to build a relationship with your target market. You have the opportunity with bad marketing to improve it. But when you're starting from nothing, making sure that you're optimizing, whether it's your website and getting ranked on Google, or starting off your, Facebook page, for example, and having nothing there, it looks like you don't care about your business. At least if there's bad marketing, you can, I hate to say it, but you can be judged on that. Right?
We wanted to take a quick break to tell you more about SB Pace, the small business consulting company that makes this podcast possible. SB Pace, which stands for Small Business Planning, Advising, Coaching, Expertise, focuses solely on helping small businesses and entrepreneurs. Are you looking to start a small business of your own? SB Pace can get you up and running with a solid foundation that's built to last. Are you an existing small business in a slump or just looking for ways to improve what you do? We can help with that. Are you ready to take your business to the next level? SB Pace is the partner you need. You can find out more about SB Pace and what we have to offer by visiting our website, sbpace.com.
What should people who are paying for ads on, one of the social platforms, right? What should they expect in terms of investment and like the ROI on that investment?
This is going to be a twofold answer. One, I'm going to tell you what is the minimum budget you should even spend if you're going to spend on Facebook and or Instagram ads, because if you're spending any less than that, it's literally a waste of money. It's just the way that Facebook works. So I want to make sure people are not wasting their money, that if they're it's better for you to save the budget from one month in order to do a really good budget the next month if it's not within your wheelhouse to spend this much. But you should be spending between $500 and $1,000 on ads when you run a campaign.
For how long? Over what time period?
Anywhere from 1 week to a month.
And what does that get you in terms
of? So that's the second part of my answer. So it depends on what your goal for the ad is. And I'm going to explain that a little bit. One of the things that you should be doing with your ads is driving leads. And I say that because a lot of people think it's okay or that it's going to work to throw up a campaign to sell their wonderful soap. Yes, it is. It is great. But if your audience doesn't already know that you exist, they're not just going to automatically buy from you from your ad. And so you're spending money on those impressions to people who are not in your world yet. So creating a lead generation funnel utilizing ads is where you start. And then you bring these people into your world because you've given them something of value. So the thing is that you want to make sure your leads are in the framework of spending no more than $10 per lead. $500 to $1,000, no less than a 1 week campaign ever, up to a month. Use the data that Facebook gives you to figure out what about that ad worked and what about that ad didn't. Did you have a lot of link clicks, but you didn't have a lot of leads sign up? Well, maybe that's your landing page, not the ads. It really just depends on finding where that point of failure is in the process.
And would that be $500 to $1,000 per platform?
You can do in this particular scenario, I'm discussing Facebook and Instagram. So you can do a $500 to $1,000 campaign across both Facebook and Instagram. Like it doesn't have to be $2,000, for example. You can use $1,000 and do Facebook and Instagram. But if you're also planning on running ads, for example, on Pinterest, then yes, that does need to be its own separate campaign.
How do you advise clients on achieving like organic growth, just in terms of that consistent pushing out content on social media, and like what sort of goals should they have for achieving organic growth that way?
So that's such a great question too. The important thing that I mentioned before is consistency. One of the things that a lot of people don't realize that is not that challenging to be consistent. You just have to have a plan. You have to have a content calendar, because that's where a lot of people stumble. Like, I don't know what I should do. Well, why don't you just first decide what type of content are you comfortable putting out? Are you comfortable putting out memes? Like, for example, an engagement meme? How about a quote, an inspirational quote? What about an internal quote? Something that you've said that resonates with your audience. That's 3 content buckets right there. There you go. That's 3 posts a week. I mean, literally, it's that simple. The other thing is you need to participate. You need to engage. Don't just let them answer your question and you don't like, love, or comment on their responses. Engage with them. They're on your page. They're there to have conversations. And then do the same thing in any groups that are aligned with your business too. Participate in them. Don't just join them and then try to sell your stuff. Actually engage in conversation, because people will, again, in groups, the same thing, know, love, and trust you. And they will come and find your page because they looked at your profile. Oh, that's one thing I could tell you right now is another mistake. I have been seeing this like crazy this week. In some of my small business groups, I have people sharing, I'm not getting anywhere with my business. I feel like I'm going to give up, and I just don't know what to do anymore. Yes, it's everywhere, right? It's running rampant. Well, here's the thing. I go to their page, because their profile, let me be clear. I'll go to their profile because, as the marketing expert that I am, I care about small business owners. I care about their growth. It hurts my heart when I see businesses that have a really good product, or a restaurant that has the most amazing food, go under because they misallocated their advertising budget, because they spent it in places where they weren't reaching their target market. Well, anyways, I'll go to their profile and there's no link. There's no owner of, founder of, and their page. I don't even know what business they have because it's not on their profile. So that, please, everyone, make sure that is there. You have no idea how many people are looking at your profile, and they may come and like your page just because they've engaged in conversation with you in a group.
So back to I'm going to call it ROI, but we don't have to call it that. But for people who are hesitant or new to marketing, and I'm not going to put you on the spot here, but like if they were to hire somebody like you, or another business, somebody to manage their marketing, like what should they be able to respect in terms of like increase in traffic or increase in revenue or whatever it is? For me, I'm the analytical guy on the team here, so like I like to put numbers to everything. So if I'm going to spend $500, if I'm going to pay $2,000 and hire you to help me build out a calendar for the year or whatever it is, should I be able to expect a certain amount back?
You have to think of it in terms of what you're spending that $2,000 for. So for example, if you're spending that $2,000 for a content calendar, then you bet if you implement that content calendar, you're going to have organic growth. That doesn't mean it jumps straight to sales. There's a marketing cycle. So if that's what you're paying for, then you're going to get the organic growth, because that's the goal of getting a content calendar and implementing regular content on your social media pages. But when you really, really think about it, you're paying for them to start to enter your world. And because you have those people on your page, now your organic social media efforts get that boost, get that jump start, because you've got people engaging with your organic social media. So what does that mean? Facebook says, oh, people like this. I'm going to show it to more people in their newsfeed. So a campaign like that is really, really valuable, not just for the number of likes you get, but because now your organic social growth has a jump start and you can continue to increase your likes in your target market every week just with your organic posts.
Do you have any other like kind of just last minute tips, tricks, anything that you'd want to share?
Ooh, good question. Let me give you one little tip on goals. If you don't reach the goal by the timeline that you have, it's okay. Think back about what you did achieve. You may have given yourself a timeline of reaching, X amount of sales, in your business, and you just didn't reach it, but you reached something. Celebrate that. Don't feel like it is a failure that you missed out on that particular goal, that you didn't fully reach it. You did something. And that is the foundation for you moving forward. A, make sure you have a strategy. B, celebrate all your wins. You need as much motivation as possible. You need as much encouragement as possible. You as an entrepreneur are overwhelmed pretty much daily. I know that feeling. So celebrate those wins. It's okay if you didn't fully reach a goal. Now you know what you need to fix, because you're going to analyze your strategy. You're going to analyze what you did, what you didn't get done. And when you set your next goal, you're going to be much closer to reaching that one, because now you understand more. Now you're starting to learn more about the things you don't know. So I hope that helps answer your question.
It does. And we're kind of getting close to the end here. So I wanted to plug your business. Tell us, where we can reach you, where we can find you. I believe you said you have a freebie that you want to offer all of our listeners.
Absolutely. And I'm happy to. So let me just give you my contact info for anyone who's interested in getting connected. Because we do offer free webinars and things like that, every so often. We also offer a virtual happy hour that we planned it out in March. What can we do to give back? What can we do to help keep small business owners motivated, encouraged, help them overcome whatever their marketing challenge is for that week without having to spend money? Where can they go for that? So we started these virtual happy hours, and if anybody would like to save their seat and then get a reminder about when they begin again, you can do that at happyhour.ampupmybiz.com. Biz is spelled B-I-Z, just to be clear. So happyhour.ampupmybiz.com. So you're going to get 2 freebies today. One, you can join us there. And then if you'd like to connect with us and talk about, anything, maybe you need a Facebook follower campaign or what have you, just hit us up at init2winit.ampupmybiz.com. And then personally, if you'd like to reach out, you're welcome to reach me at lisa@ampupmybiz.com. And here's your other freebie, your content calendar sample. I worked really, really hard on this. So if anybody has any feedback, please feel free to share with me. I will always do what I can to make it better for you. So you can get that at contentcalendarsample.ampupmybiz.com. Really, really simple. contentcalendarsample.ampupmybiz.com.
Great.
All right. And I'm assuming any other information that they might need and links to all of that for anything that they didn't catch, they can probably get at ampupmybiz.com.
They can, and you can certainly connect with us. We're on all the top 6 social platforms, so feel free to, find us. Our handle on Facebook and Instagram is the same, at ampupmybiz. We publish a lot of content that is really, really helpful. So that's another place to get tips and tricks and freebies.
Okay. We'll also put all the information in the show notes so people can find it there. This was great, Lisa. Thank you so much for taking time with us today.
Yeah, thanks, Lisa.
Thank you.
So that was an interesting podcast today.
It really was. We learned a lot of mistakes that business owners make in social media and how they can improve upon just their overall social media in general.
Yeah, there was a lot of really not only strategic but tactical information provided by Lisa Cutter.
There was, and if you want to learn more, you can go to ampupmybiz.com. There's a bunch of different ways that you can connect with Lisa in the show notes, so check those out.
Yeah. Thanks to our listeners for tuning in today. We do this for you. We really appreciate every time that you tune in. And if you could head on over to wherever you've downloaded this podcast from and rate us, subscribe and rate us, we would really appreciate it. The better ratings, the more we're going to show up for people.
And while you're out there on the internet, check us out at sbpace.com. You can connect with us that way, sign up to be on the podcast, reach out to us on social media. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn.
And we wrote a book, which is available on Amazon. You can click right through our website to make the purchase. But we would love for you to pick up a copy of Seriously, Now What? A Small Business Guide to Disaster Preparedness. And it comes with a companion workbook.
And just a reminder, we are here every Tuesday and Thursday, so check us out on our next episode. And I'm Corey.
I'm Julie.
And that was BizQuik, helping small business owners across the country.